Om Namo Loe Sarvatrikavarti Aryantanam. Om Namo Loe Sarvatrikavarti Siddhanam. Om Namo Loe Sarvatrikavarti Ayaryanam. Om Namo Loe Sarvatrikavarti Uvajjayanam. Om Namo Loe Sarvatrikavarti Savanam. Om Karam Bindu Sanyuktam Nityam Dayanti Yoginam Kamadam Mokshadam Chaiva Om Karaya Namo Namah. नमः समयसाराय स्वानुभूत्या चकासते चित्सभावाय भावाय सर्वभावान्तरच्छिदे अज्ञानतिमिर अन्धानां ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः तीर्थङ्करो जगत्तनाजयवन्तवर्तो ओङ्कारनादजिननो जयवन्तवर्तो जिनना समो शरण सौ जयवंत वर्तो ने तीर्थचार जगमा जयवंत वर्तो नमो तीर्थनायकने नमो ओंकार नादने ओंकार संगरो तेने नमो ते श्री कुंद कुंदने अहो उपकार जिन वरनो कुंदनो ध्वनि दिव्यनो जीन कुंद ध्वनियप्य अहो ते गुरु काननो अहो ते भगवती मातनो ध्रुव अचलने अनुपम गति पामेन सर्वे सीतने वंदे कहूँ सुत केवली भाषित आसमय प्राभृत अरे ओम एक शुद्ध सदा अरूपी ज्ञान दर्शनमय खरे कहीं अन्य ते मारू जरी परमाणु मात्र नथी अरे जम नेत्र ते मज ज्ञान नथी कारक नथी वेदक अरे जाने जकर मोदय निरजरा बंदते मज मोक्षने ओम नमः सिद्धेभ्यो ओम नमः सिद्धेभ्यो ओम श्री शुद्धात्माने नमः जय जिनेन्द्र. So today is April 18, 2018, Wednesday, and we are continuing our discussion on Samaysar stanza 13. So we have done quite a few discussions on Samaysar stanza 13, and actually now we are seeing from the prelude of the stanza, now we are on the actual nitty-gritty thing on this stanza, in which how these 9 elements or 9 reals are actually created. So we are getting the feel for those things. So how do they do it? So that's what we talked about. Quickly, we'll recapitulate some of the things and then we'll come to the subject. So let me bring the slides. Here. Okay, so here we were talking about soul and matter relationship. So here is a soul that independently soul can be in its innate state or it could be in its deluding state. This happens independently by the soul. Nobody advised soul to do anything. It just soul by its own way. When the mode is arising, this is soul substance. There are the couple of modes occurring. Either it could be innate state mode, means pure mode, or deluding mode means impure mode. So two possible things can happen in given substance at a given moment. So this deluding state occurs by myself alone, by me alone. Nobody instigated me, nobody asked me to do those things. But when this thing is happening, at that time, there's a fruition of karma, old karma, standing on the other side of the fence, and both those things together, it's called principal cause auxiliary cause relationship. Means Means this is the deluding state is a prime factor, prime principal guy, and this guy is a supporting actor. So he is present simply by itself. Nobody asked fruition of karma to come. It just came by itself. And at the same time, there is a new karma getting bonded, because what's happening, old karma comes in fruition. I'm in deluding state, and because I'm in deluding state, bondage of new karma occurs independently, and then this karma goes in the dormancy, and then when the right time comes, then fruition occurs, and this circle keeps on going forever. And so those are the things that we know it, that's happening in this whole circle. This fruition of karma is a matter. Bondage of new karma is a matter. Matter, they are having no consciousness. They don't have brain of their own. They are having no consciousness. While only the thing has a knowledge or consciousness is soul. So in this whole diagram, only deluding state is under control of soul. If soul goes on the innate state, then this circle starts breaking down, and then ultimately it disappears. Circle breaking down is called stoppage and shading, and completely circle going away is called liberation, means moksha. So samvar nijra is a breakage of this circle, and the whole thing disappearing is called the liberation, means moksha, means soul in his innate state forever, and that's a Siddha Bhagwan or Aryan Bhagwan. Either way we can talk about it. So now, here, knowing this action, knowing this drama, knowing this figure, this guy right now created deluding state by itself. Nobody instigated. It happened by itself. It was a soul's decision to be in a deluding state. And that thing, that soul's deluding mode, is its own eligibility. Now, as we said, this word is very important. Eligibility word is very important. That the soul substance has an infinite amount of modes just stuck inside. And one at a time, those modes, they keep on coming. No two modes of a given substance in forever will be the same in general. So they are independently occurring, and they are occurring because it was eligibility. And so one after another, the mode keeps on coming. For example, if you take 10 modes in a row, for example, the first one is a deluding mode, second is deluding, third is deluding, fourth is deluding, and fifth could be in a state because it was supposed to be in that state. So it was its own eligibility. Atmani paryayagat yogyata means eligibility in that deluding state, means it is called vikar thava yogya. This mode was supposed to be eligibility to be in a deluding state. That's why that mode occurred. Simply that thing occurred from the soul's perspective. Now, at the same time, fruition of old karma here occurring on the other side of the fence, and they are called Vikar Karnar, doer of the deluding state, or it's called instrumental cause, is been accused to be the doer. Remember, what did we say? This guy is a principal cause, this guy is an instrumental cause. Now, instrumental cause and principal cause combine together, and a deluding state in the form of anger occurred in me. Anger, deceit, ego, greed, rag, dvesh, agnan, mithyatva, ignorance, wrong faith, all kind of things happen within me when this oblong thing and this circle guy, they combine together, and an action is seen. So in this, in the word action, the two players are there. One is having the eligibility in that state, and second is a doer of that state. Now, wait a second. We are being told that a principal action is a doer. Why you are asking this guy to be doer? Because because I have eligibility of that deluding state mode within my soul, stuck since time infinite in the past. I have that eligibility stuck within me. It is there since time infinite within me. But there was no instrumental cause present, and that's why action was not occurring. Action occurred when the instrumental cause is present, and that's why we are accusing this fruition of karma that you are the doer. From conventional point of view, from Vyavaharane perspective, we are accusing this fruition of karma as a doer. Actually, he's not a doer, but he's a doer, and this guy is a eligibility in that form. So eligibility and doer combined together means action is seen in the form of an anger. One samay this relationship lasts, next samay this fruition of old karma dissipates and they dissolve into the atmosphere, into the universe. And here this mode goes back into the soul in the form of eligibility. So that mode goes back into the soul with the stamp of eligibility. The ocean is there, and ocean has from time infinite, the waves after waves after waves after waves, they come. In the ocean, those waves were predetermined. So now a small little wave came, or a huge wave came, or a tsunami came. All those waves were supposed to come at that particular moment. Only thing, they got the fruit of old karma in the form that the ocean wave is there, and there's a wind and moon's phase and whatever. Those are the instrumental cause, and as a result, we see a huge wave. We see the we see the rising phase of the moon, or receding phase of, rising phase of ocean, or receding phase of the ocean. But those are predetermined modes were there in the ocean, and wind, etc., were working as an instrumental cause. So similar way here, that we have mode, deluding mode in the form of eligibility, and instrumental cause means doer. So doer and eligible, two things are there. Vikar thavayogya, vikar karna. Vikar thavayogya, vikar karna means eligibility and doer. Those combined together, action occurs. We knew that one last time, just to have the quick revision. And so now, having said that, now we just talk about this water fountain, everything. We'll skip those things and we'll come to the our slide that we had it in this.
Kirit uncle,
yeah.
Just if you can go back to that original drawing you had there.
Yeah. Okay.
You had upadan and nimit, right?
Yes.
So in there, clearly you have nimit already defined, but where would upadan be in this diagram?
This red oblong thing is a upadan. Means this deluding mode of the soul in the form of anger, deceit, ego, greed, or rag and dvesh is a upadan.
That's auxiliary cause, but the nimit is actually the karma, and that's the fruition of karma.
Oh, that's a nimit, yes.
And that's based on the vevar, nahi?
No. Number one, this is the upadan, right? Means a principal cause.
Right.
This is the subsidiary or auxiliary cause. So principal cause, auxiliary cause relationship established between these two guys, right?
I'm just trying to understand the Gujarati. So the upadan is the principal cause.
Yes.
Auxiliary cause is the nimit.
Remember, whenever there is upadan, when you say word upadan, means you are telling me that there is a presence of nimit. Whenever, anytime you say I am the upadan. If I'm the upadan, somebody has to be nimit around me. So that's what I'm looking for. If I'm the upadan here, a deluding state is a upadan, then I have to have somebody as a nimit, and fruition of old karma is a nimit. Remember nimit's definition, we just went again and again and again in the past. Nimit is present in a given act. Its presence is important, but it cannot do anything to the original guy. The action the action is occurring because of this guy, because of this eligibility in that state, and that's where the action is going to occur. And fruition of karma is present in a form of nimit. So upadan, when I say nimit is present, but act is done because of upadan. For example, the moon is there and extreme high wind is there, but suppose there is no ocean, then there are no waves. So waves are occurring in the ocean because there is because the water had an eligibility to be in a wave form, and the moon and the wind were acting as nimit. In the other form, we can just say, other example I'm trying to think about is fish wants to swim. Suppose this is a fish. Fish wants to swim, but there is a water acts as a nimit. Fish is a upadan and water is a nimit, and combined together, and fish is able to swim. If there is no water, fish is not able to swim, even though fish has a capacity to swim. So water is simply a nimit. Now, if I just say, just because water was there, that's why fish is swimming, then I said, what about the rock? If I put a rock over here, then rock is sinking in the water because rock has a capacity to sink, fish has a capacity to swim, and water in both the situation acts as instrumental cause, acts as a nimit. So fish is a upadan, or the rock is a upadan, and water is a nimit at the time. So combined together, act is seen. Without them, act is not seen. So fish has a capacity to swim, that's it, it's there, but there's no water. Then fish cannot swim. No water, rock cannot sink. Does it make sense?
Okay.
Yes, okay.
I got it. I just wanted to make sure I got the wording correct for the English words.
Very good, very nice. Good.
Thank you.
Okay. So same way here we have seen also, for example, that the light acts as a nimit. Light is acting as an instrumental cause. This water in the pond has an eligibility at this moment to be in a purple form or green form or red form or yellow form. That particular water molecule has that eligibility to be in that form. And that form in this water in the pond was there from before. Whether light was there or not, that pond has an eligibility, the water had the eligibility, and when the light acts as instrumental cause here, then that instrumental cause and the water's eligibility combined together for that particular moment occurred in the form of purple, red, green, or yellow form. This water at this form, this molecule, they did not have that eligibility, so they are simply sitting in a colorless pure water. Or that particular the particular molecule over here is going to have eligibility after this samay. After this point is over, then this molecule is arising, and that has eligibility at that moment, and so light works as instrumental cause, and the color is seen. So that relationship lasts for one samay, and that's why action is seen. Otherwise, this light remains by itself and water remains by itself and nothing happens, but because of eligibility of water, that's why we see. Having said those kind of things, now we just said, sorry. We said that the soul has a deluding state eligibility. One second. So the soul has a deluding state eligibility, and fruition of karma has a it is accused to be a doer. So doer over here and eligibility over here, combined together, this relationship lasts for one samay. And for an act, instrumental cause presence is important, but does not take part in the action of the affluent cause. Means affluent means principal cause, and so that way the reaction occurred. So knowing this thing, we are dividing 9 elements, 9 tattva into 2 different parts: eligibility and doer. Eligibility means the one here in the principal cause. Doer means instrumental cause. So combined together, an act is produced. So that way we just saw it. Let's see now. We just quickly go through one, and then we'll just skip other and come to. Yeah.
In other words, you mean we're just dividing into Bhau and Dravya Tattvas, correct?
Yes. Bhav, then that slide is coming at the end of this Now Tattva, that there is a Bhav karma and Dravya karma. Bhav karma means psychic inclination. Soul's mode is called psychic inclination, means Bhav karma. Karma fruition is called material material karma fruition, or it's called Dravya karma. So Bhav karma, Dravya karma. Over here we are taking inauspiciousness, so Bhav pap and Dravya pap, or psychic inauspiciousness, material inauspiciousness, combined together is known as inauspicious element, or it's called pap tattva. Bhav pap plus Dravya pap combined together are called pap tattva. When I say pap tattva, there are 2 guys involved, and we have to keep that one in mind, that one is from the soul's perspective and one is available from the karma perspective. Karma guy is simply instrumental cause. As we
Kirit
say,
uncle?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, just this might be too technical, but when we say bhav pap, we're talking about a soul modification, right?
Yes.
But sometimes we use the word psychic modification.
Yeah.
That implies it's a mind modification. Actually, Dravya Mahavijay?
Yes.
Ke nahi?
And you are right, because there is a lack of proper words in English language, that we are stuck with certain words which are as close as possible. We can just say psychic inauspiciousness, or we can say soul's inauspiciousness. We can put, to be exactly, we have to put the word soul's inauspiciousness. When we say psychic, means related to the soul. That's what over here it means. That's why we put the word bhav pap underneath. We put Gujarati word bhav pap also. So that denotes that it is occurring in a soul's mode. So we can say soul's inauspiciousness, but then sometimes it can confuse the reader. So we use the word psychic inauspiciousness, but actually it is occurring in the soul. So we can say soul's inauspiciousness, or psychic inauspiciousness, or we can say bhav pap, and they all mean the same way. Means there is a deluding mode of the soul in the form of inauspiciousness. Atmani vibhav paryay ke jema pap na bhav hoy. Means I have a violent thoughts process. I have a thought process of hurting somebody, speaking lies, or stealing something, or the non-celibate act, or possessiveness. Those kind of thought process, or those kind of inclination occurring within me as a soul, they are called psychic inauspiciousness, or soul's inauspiciousness, or bhav pap, means related to the soul. So yes, that's a good question that you said. It clarifies over here. Yeah, psychic can also be divided into Dravyaman, Bhavaman, etc. But that's not, we are not going in that technicality right now. So here, psychic inauspiciousness or soul's inauspiciousness, material inauspiciousness combined together are called inauspicious element. Bhav pap, dravya pap combined together pap tattva. So whenever I say pap tattva, means suddenly it should come in my mind that we are dividing between the soul and the material karma, and the soul's inauspicious is most important because I have a control over it. This is the karma. Karma does their own job, and I don't worry what karma wants to do. What is happening with me? That is important. So that's what happens. So the soul creating inauspicious mode due to the self only. So again, soul psychic inauspiciousness means bhava, means soul creating inauspicious mode due to self only. Now, karma creating modes due to self only. Soul being principal cause, karma being auxiliary cause, and there is a principal or cause, auxiliary cause relationships occur, and that's why the inauspicious element is perceived. Inauspiciousness in the mode of the soul known as modes eligibility occurring at that state. So what is this one? A soul's inauspiciousness means the eligibility of the soul occurring at that particular moment. And this fruition of inauspicious karma acting as an instrumental cause. And as a result, there's a violence, lying, possessiveness, etc. state occurs. Pap vikar thava yogya, pap vikar karnar, and pap tattva. Pap vikar karnar means it is been said, it's been called to be doer because we are accusing from conventional point of view. This guy has not done anything. It simply was present there. But for example, let's say that I have a fight with my spouse. And I said, because of you, I did that. So I accuse her that you are the instigator for my anger. But actually, my mode was supposed to be in that state, and she was acting as instrumental cause. I had a choice. I had a choice to be in that state or not. So responsibility comes at my doorstep. So having said this one, last time we just said about psyche, souls creating inauspicious mode, souls creating auspicious mode, souls creating inflow mode, souls creating bondage mode. And we went through all those things. So now at least it becomes refresh in our mind. Now we are going to go through the next three elements, the stoppage, shading, and liberation. Remember last week, Ankit wanted to go through that one. I said no, because we will need to have digested this one, and then this time today we are going to talk about it.
Okay, Kirit uncle.
Yeah.
Just to clarify one thing
Yeah.
before you go on. So right now we're talking about nimit naimitik sabandh because
Yes.
we're talking about two different dravyas, the
Yes.
soul dravya and karma, which is pudgo. So
Yes.
we have this relationship, nimit naimitik.
Yeah. Yes.
When do we use karan karya sabandh? Is that when you're inside one dravya? Is that correct?
Yes. Nimit naimitik sambandh means, it's a very good question. Nimit naimitik sambandh means principal cause, auxiliary cause relationship. It happens between two entirely separate substances, or two different entities. Let's put it that way right now, to be exact. Two different entities we would like to have relationships to be established, momentary relationships to be established. So that's over here is a fruition of karma, means a matter, and over here is a soul. So soul and matter relationship we want to establish, and so it's called principal cause, auxiliary cause relationship. In contrast, we are also going to say other places we already have said that, and it will also be coming in 14, 15, 16 stanza also, that there is a doer deed relationship, karta karma sambandh, doer deed relationship. Who is the doer and what kind of deed occurs? But that occurs in a one substance only. one substance only. If I as a soul is a doer, then my knowing action is a deed occurred within me. So they have inherent relationship. Doer and deed. Doer and deed cannot be separated. Sugar and sweet. Sugar and sweetness cannot be separated. You can't put the injection into the sugar and take the sweetness away. You can't take this salty taste of the salt away. You can't take sour taste from the lemon away because they have inherent relationship. So doer is a lemon and sour taste is a deed. Sugar is a doer and the sweetness is a deed. So doer, deed, soul is a doer and knowing is a deed. So they have inherent relationship. That relationship occur in one substance only. So that's a doer-deed relationship. But the principal cause, auxiliary cause relationship means nimit naimitic sambandh denotes the two separate substances are there and one samay relationship are to be mentioned. This guy is doing all kind of activities, this guy is doing all kind of activities, and somewhere in particular time they meet each other. For example, I am going to school every day. My grandchild goes to school every day and the bus comes every day. 8 o'clock morning the bus comes and the child comes out of the house. 8 o'clock morning child comes out of the house and bus comes. So there is a principal cause auxiliary cause relationship, in the sense if I talk from the grandchild's perspective, then he is the principal cause and the bus coming, it becomes instrumental cause. If I'm talking from the bus perspective, bus becomes the principal cause and child's coming out becomes instrumental cause. So the two separate substances, we are establishing relationship. That's a principal cause auxiliary cause relationship or nimit naimitic sambandh. Very good question, very nice question, very thoughtful question. And but those things are going to come again and again, so we will not. But again, as this question comes, when we raise these issues and everything, it makes our ideas a little bit stronger, that what I understand it correctly. Very good. Does it make sense? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, all right. So we just talked about it. So now I'm going to jump to the different slides from, this is the Punya Tattva, then this is the Asrav Tattva we talked about, similar thing, and these are, okay, now we are on the stoppage element. That's what we are going to talk a little bit more about it, because it's very important, because some of the relationship suddenly entirely changes, and it has to make our theory to be perfect. So why those changes occur? Let's talk about it. Soul's mode, same as before, and soul's mode is a what happened? Okay, all right. Soul's mode is called psychic stoppage, and it's called material stoppage. Karma fruitions are not occurring. Karma fruition not occurring is called material stoppage, and combined together they are called stoppage element or samvartatva. Here, psychic stoppage, or to be exact, soul by itself creating the mode of purity. Remember here, bhav samvar we are talking. Bhav samvar means the stoppage activity occurring in the soul, exactly what happens in the soul. So soul, remember the first slide we started, that soul is over here and has a two possibility. It could be the innate state or it could be in the deluded state. So now soul decided to go in the innate state, means beginning of purity. I am experiencing my soul substance. My faith attribute mode, which was directed to the alien objects of the universe, now has brought to the eternal soul substance. Mari Shraddha Gunni Paryay, je Baharna Dravya Parati, એ હવે બદલાઈને ત્રિકાળી શુદ્ધ આત્મા દ્રવ્ય તરફ વળી, તો તેને આપણે સંવર કહીશું, ભાવ સંવર કહીશું, because beginning of purity occurred. So beginning of purity means my mode, instead of going into the deluding state, now went into the innate state just for that particular time. So that means there's a first time ever it happened that I have experiencing of my purity state, which I have never ever experienced in the past so far. This is the first time I ever experienced my purity mode. Means I am in the innate state. So my purity started, and that is called psychic stoppage or soul creating modes of purity. Soul did independently creating mode of purity. And that is called stoppage occurred with his own right personal effort. Me, I did that effort to go within myself. So whenever we talk anything, we have to say, what is happening to the soul? What is happening in me? What is happening in me? That is most important. I don't care what happens to the karma and everything. What happens to me, that is most important. When the light occurs, then the darkness has to go. But light said, I don't care about it. I am just doing my job to give the light. It all depends on the darkness to go away or not. That's its problem, not my problem. Similarly, I'm creating more of purity, and that is the called stoppage occurred with his own personal effort, or it's called psychic stoppage. At the same time, what happens in karma particle? For karma particle by themselves decided not to be in fruition state. This happens independently by karma itself. Remember, this is very delicate point to understand that because we are establishing principal cause auxiliary cause relationship. So this guy is a principal cause, this guy is an auxiliary cause, and they are showing relationship for one samay. And in that one samay, I, as a soul, decided to be in my pure state. That's all I did. I did not do anything to karma. I did not touch the karma. Karma decided by itself to run away. As I have the knowledge, as I have the bright light of knowledge occurring, then darkness of the karma fruition disappears. Other way around saying, let's say that I'm facing east right now. I'm facing east right now, and I decided to turn to west. I'm facing east, decided to turn to the west. What's happening at the time? Did I turn to west, or did I leave the east? What happened? Did I actively turn to west, or did I leave the east? Well, both the things occur at the same time. It depends what way you want to look at it. Here, if I have purity occurring within me, then karma particles decided themselves not to be in the fruition state, and karma had that kind of thing happening because its mode was supposed to be in that way only because it was predetermined the mode for the karma by themselves at that time too. I know the lights, the bells are ringing in the ear, in the minds over here with the listener. That wait a second, but this guy has a brain, so he decided to be in the by that personal effort to be in his own state. Why did this guy quote unquote decided? Means does it have any brain? No, it doesn't have any brain. But the karma as a matter particle, also having matter being a substance, has a mode, and those modes are also predetermined, prefixed also for the karma also. So my modes are predetermined, prefixed. Same time karma modes are also decided by karma by their own modes coming in sequential order. Krambat paryay for karma also, Krambat paryay for the soul also. Actually, Krambat paryay occurs between all 6 universal substances, but medium of motion, medium of space and time, those four substances, they're pure by themselves. So their modes are pure by themselves. So we don't talk about it. These two guys can be in the pure or impure form, and that's why the whole transmigration occurs. That's why we have to talk about them. So this is a very important point to digest. Now, I'm still, we are not done here. Remember, karma particle by themselves decided not to be in fruition state, not to be. In the previous one, when the pap, punya, asra, and everything we were talking, to be in the fruition state. Here we are saying not to be in the fruition state. So not to be in fruition state also acts as instrumental cause. Not to be in fruition state also acts as an instrumental cause. That means instrumental cause can be of two types. If you are taking karma, then instrumental cause can be of two types: presence of a fruition or absence of fruition. Two different ways the instrumental cause can be present. I'm supposed to speed and police is absent, is there. Police is absent, is acting as an instrumental cause. That's why I'm speeding. But speeding occurred because of me. Police not being present is because of police. But that police not being present also acts as instrumental cause in the form of negation. So that's very important point. The instrumental cause can be in the form of presence or can be in the form of absence. And over here, they are in the form of absence.
So here in Gujarati, you say abhav
Abhavrup nimit and a sadbhavrup nimit.
અને ઉપશમ અહીંયા વપરાય કે નહીં?
You can say upsham also if you want to say upsham. Abhav means not to rise in the fruition state. That means it could be upsham or it is sitting in a satta. It is sitting in the dormancy, or it just was not supposed to come, means it got suppressed for its own coming. So either way you can use the word. But not to be, that's the one we have to understand over here. Why it's not to be, that's a different things to worry about. But not to be means karma fruition was important in a pap, in a punya, in a asra, and a bondage. But over here, not to be present is acting as instrumental cause. So soul being principal cause and karma absence, fruition of karma absent, acting as instrumental cause. Does that make sense? Because that's a key point over here. Whole thing, these guys are also important to understand, but this guy, the nimit or instrumental cause, absence of the karma fruition acts as instrumental cause. And over here, when we say bhav samvar, psychic stoppage, or soul creating purity of mode, occur by its own personal effort. This guy has his own personal effort, and this guy, karma particles, not to be in the fruition, is by their own doing it. Nobody asked karma to do it. Nobody asked soul to be in the purity mode. Soul decided with his own personal effort. And I had the capacity to go into the purity state. These guys, they are just acting because of their own modes occurring in that certain way. So that's very important. Now we are just the same thing. So stoppage state in the mode is known as eligibility occurring state. Mode has its own birth time. This purity of mode, it's its own birth time. And that was his own eligibility. And when it was his own eligibility, karma fruition to be absent, acting as instrumental cause, was labeled as doer of the act. The negation is blamed as a doer of an act. Absence of policeman is called doer of the act. I am speeding on the freeway. Police is not present. Not present is a doer of the act for me to go fast. But I decided to go fast by myself, by my own eligibility, by my own personal effort. And that is called beginning of purity state occurring, means samvar tattva, stoppage element. Means I experience. Remember, now we have to start putting lots of things together. Why did this mode of purity occur? Because my faith attribute. Faith attribute has a modes, either pure mode or impure mode. And now faith attribute decided to be in the pure mode. So faith's mode, which was going to alien object, now it was directed to the self. And that's why I have innate state experience of myself. Innate state experience of myself is associated with a supersensuous bliss which I have never experienced before. So supersensuous bliss and innate state experiencing, they go hand in hand, and that is occurring because my faith attribute decided to have more going to my eternal soul substance. Once the faith attribute goes in, remember, it's all or none. Faith attribute works as an all or none. Either it's a wrong, either it's directed to the alien object or it's directed to the soul. For example, if I say, and this is the example Hemant Bhai used to give, and that was a very effective example, 2 plus 2 is 4, right? Yes, we know that. So if I say 2 plus 3, can I be 75% right or not? 2 plus 2 is 4. So if I say 2 plus 2 is 3, am I 70% right or wrong, or right or not? Answer is either you, when you say 4, you are 100% right, and any other number you use, that means wrong. There's nothing like percentage-wise or anything. So either faith attributes more, either it is directed to the alien object or directed to the self. That's it. So here, soul, by its own personal effort, decided to have faith mode going to the soul, and that means experiencing of the soul occurred, means purity occurred. So that's called samvar. Samvar means stoppage, means psychic stoppage, means soul's purity of mode situation, because that is occurring within me. That is most important. Karma fruition occurring or not occurring, that's karma's problem, not my problem. Why should I worry about it? The light says, I'm not worried about darkness. If I worry about darkness, I can't be light. So here, I'm not worried about anybody else. I'm worried about I'm concerned about my situation. Am I having purity of mode? Yes, then I have bhav samvar. Automatically, these guys are not in a fruition state, but that is separately its own job. So, samvarthava yogya jiv samvaryas, that's a word coming, and samvar karma uday samvarak, and this is called samvar tattva. These are two new words are coming. So that is samvarthava yogya. Who is samvarthava yogya? Jiv. Who is having eligibility to be in the pure state? Soul. So eligibility of the soul to be in the pure state in Gujarati, it's called samvarya. Samvarya means means it has a purity of the soul occurring by soul's own personal effort. Means jiv is a samvarya. Now, the samvar karna, remember this karma particle not coming in the fruition, that is their own job by themselves, and they are instrumental cause, but we are accusing it. So we just said you are samvarak and samvarya. So these are two different words are there, that if we read the literature, it will come sometimes. When it comes, we should be aware of it, that it is the eligibility of the soul by creating its own purity of mode. That's why it's called samvarya. When a karma particle not coming in fruition, that means karma uday is called samvarak, means not to be in a fruition state. Sorry. Any question here in this slide? Because this is a new concept that we are throwing inside right now. Okay. If there is question, you can speak up anytime, interrupt me, no problem. So now that we know stoppage, now becomes the shading element becomes the same way, is the same as stoppage element. So now we are going to shading element. Soul's mode is called, now we are talking shading element, Nirjara Tattva. So Bhav Nirjara, and here is a Dravya Nirjara, and it is called Nirjara Tattva. Bhav Nirjara plus Dravya Nirjara combined together is called Nirjara Tattva. Psychic shading or material shading or bonded karma getting disintegrated, and that is the shading from the material karma onward, and combined together is called shading element. This thing occurred by soul by independently. This thing occurred by karma independently. So just like that water to have eligibility in the color form, and the light acting as an instrumental cause, and as a result we saw the colorful light, colorful water having the light on it. So here psychic shading means my own creation, and material shading means bonded karma getting disintegrated, and combined together is called Nirjara Tattva. Now what's happening in the psychic shading? What's happening? Soul by itself creating the mode of increasing purity. Remember, my faith, my faith attribute had a mode which was going toward the alien objects of the universe. When we say alien object of the universe, means body, physical body and beyond, but physical body. So my faith mode was directed to my body and beyond, now as directed to myself. So now I have experiencing of the soul going on. I have experiencing of the soul going on, but that moment lasts momentarily. So in the previous slide, when in the stoppage we said that the beginning of purity, here is increasing purity, means now my one mode is directed inside. I'm getting the bliss experiencing, super senses bliss experiencing. Second mode also remain the same. Third mode remain the same. Fourth mode remain the same for whatever time. And that more than one mode into the innate state. Now more modes are remaining in the innate state in a series. Instead of that fifth number mode to be in the innate state, now sixth number mode is also innate state, 7 is also same, 8 is also same, like that, and that is called increasing purity. We are using that word increasing purity because of for a reason. But right now, hold on to your thoughts. We'll come back to that. So, soul by creating the modes of increasing purity is called psychic shading. Now, this increasing of purity state with the decreasing impurity state occurring with his own right personal effort. Remember, to start with, I'm full of impurity within me. Now my purity started. So when purity is starting, on the other side, my impurity starts decreasing. Purity increases, impurity decreases. Purity goes further up, impurity goes down. Purity is complete, impurity is gone completely. So now, between the state of purity beginning and the purity beginning and impurity going down, beginning. And now purity keeps on going up, impurity going down, going up, going down, going up. That whole process is called shading, is called nirjara. So in the literature, there'll be a word coming that samvar sahitni nirjara. Correct? What is that thing now? Because if I don't have to start, if I don't have purity begin, then there is no choice of purity to be increasing in nature. My purity begins to start and then it keeps on increasing. So, for example, my purity became 1 unit, then 2 units, 3 units, 80 units, 90 units, 95 units, 99 units, up to 99 units. It's called purity increasing, and that is called from 2 to 99, for example, is called nirjara element or psychic shading. Up to, when there was zero purity to start with, means I was totally impure to start with. Now my purity begin, 1% purity begin, 1% impurity become less, 2% purity begin, 2% impurity came down, 80% purity, 20% impurity remain. Like that up to 99, for example. So 2 to 99, we can just say it's a nirjara, it's a shading. Number 1, purity beginning is number 1. Which 2 to 99, for example, is a shading, and 100 is called liberation. So, beginning of purity, increasing purity, completing of purity. Samvar, nirjara, moksha. It is beginning of purity, increasing purity, and complete purity of this soul, because we are dealing with the soul. We don't worry what happens to these guys. We'll take care of that later on. We don't have to worry about that. What is happening within me? So standard teaching will say that somewhere means karmanu avu atakvu, nijara means karmanu karmanu nijara thavi, and moksha means no karma at all, means all the karmas are gone. But this karma perspective, I have no part of karma perspective. What is there in me, my thing, myself, soul. So purity beginning is a stoppage, purity increasing is a shading, and purity completing is called liberation. So now onwards, anybody asking you that somewhere, the word somewhere comes, the light should go in your mind, it's a beginning of purity. Nirjara, increasing purity. Moksha, complete pure state. So those kind of things, we have to create our mindset in that direction all the time. What is there in me? Ask that question first. Forget about, somebody can say, I can tell you karma theory and everything and what happens to karma. I don't worry about karma. Somebody can describe everything about darkness. I don't want to know darkness. Tell me about light. Tell me about light. That's all I'm interested in. So that's what our attitude has to be. And so what did I say? That the shading is along with the stoppage. Means nirjara, samvar sahit ni nirjara. Samvar sahit ni nirjara. Means shading along with the stoppage. You cannot have shading without stoppage. You cannot have 2% to 99% purity increasing without 1% of purity beginning. So purity beginning is a samvar, and purity increasing is nirjara. So nirjara is along with the samvar. So that we have to keep in mind. So that's the point that I was trying to tell before. My purity keeps on increasing proportionately, and impurity keeps on decreasing. Purity increasing, impurity decreasing. That state between 2%, 1% purity is a stoppage, but 2 to 99% purity is associated with the absence of impurity. That much proportion. 80% purity, 20% impurity, 90% purity, 10% impurity. So purity and impurity both will remain together in the state, inversely proportionate way. 1% purity, 99% impurity. 10% purity, 90% impurity. Inversely proportionate relationship is there, and that inversely related, the inversely proportionate relationship starts at the fourth spiritual development state and gets over at 13th spiritual development state. So from 4th to 13th state is called the progressive increase in the purity of the soul occurring. From 4th spiritual development state means experiencing of the soul substance. Remember, we are throwing lots of other ideas together because we are trying to now put everything to, it's not only 13 stanza I have to understand, I have to know other things also. So we are trying to learn spiritual development state, what happens there. First, purity begins, that's the 4th spiritual development state, Chaturth Gunsthana. From 4th all the way to less than 13, they are called increasing purity state and decreasing impurity state. So that is called sadhak avastha, or it is called aspirant state. I'm the aspirant. I want to aspire. I want to have complete purity. So I generated beginning of purity and I'm increasing my purity, and generation of purity to increasing purity. That means my progressive increase in my spiritual development state. So that means it is called Gunsthanak. ચતુર્થ ગુણસ્થાનક થી 13મા ગુણસ્થાનક થી સ્લાઇટ ઓછું, તે બધાને આપણે એસ્પિરન્ટ સ્ટેજ કહીશું, એને સાધક અવસ્થા કહીશું. સાધક અવસ્થા બાધક અવસ્થા સાથે છે. જેટલી જેટલી સાધકતા છે એટલી 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 proportionately decreasing બાધકતા છે. Whatever amount of purity I have generated, also proportionate decrease in the impurity occurs in that aspirant state. So from 1 to 99% of purity, for example, is a purity state, but at the same time, to look from the impurity perspective, from 99 down to 1% is an impurity decreasing proportionately, inversely proportionately during that aspirant phase. So let's presume I have a samyak darshan right now. Can I be angry? Can I be arrogant? Can I be greedy? Well, remember, proportionately decreasing amount of deluding activities are there, but they are there. Chakravarti Ashok, the son of Rishabdev, he is a Chakravarti. He is a king of all the 6 continents. That's the highest one can achieve. He also is going to war. He has a samyak darshan. He has a right faith. He is experiencing of his soul. He is on the 4th spiritual development state, but he is also doing war. At that time, he knows that this is not my state of doing all those things, but it ends up doing it. So purity and impurity, proportionately increasing, decreasing, that thing goes in. So here, the psychic shading means the purity increasing state occurs with my own personal effort, and at that time, karma particle by themselves, they are getting dissipated. This happens independently by karma itself. The soul has not forced. If I am turning to the way from west to east, from west to east I'm turning, so that much amount of from west to east I'm going, so I am leaving the west proportionately. If I just turn 1%, so I have given 1% of the other side. 50%, so 50% of the other side. I'm 100% here, so I have given up 100% of the other side. So same way here, proportionately whatever. So it's a mixed state. It's a pure and impure. Both the things are there, but progressively decreasing impurity, progressively increasing purity. So that is my psychic shading. So that's what is very important. Now, Now knowing this one, let's throw this one first. Soul being principal cause and karma getting dissipated is an auxiliary cause. So this guy is a shading state, is a soul's own eligibility, this mode's own birth time. And at the time, shading in the karma disintegration act as instrumental cause labeled as doer of the act. This is the eligibility and this is doer of the act, and combined together they are called increasing of purity state occurring. I lost the chain of thought that I wanted to say about it. It's okay, it will come back. So shading state eligibility is there, karma disintegration eligibility is there. Okay, all right. So it is increasing purity state. Oh yes. Now, yes, a point to remember, very practical point to remember. And remember, I'm not saying this. The scripture says that. So don't, I mean, because Kunkun Acharya Dev has said that, Amrit Chandra Acharya Dev has said that, and they have said these things because they have heard from the scripture written by the Gandhar Bhagwan, first disciple of the Lord. And in the lineage, the Acharya Bhagwan also said the same thing. And with their own pure experiencing, that's what they wrote down. And that's what Gurudev put it in front of us. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's not my making it. Having said that asterisk, now that we say Nirjara Samvar Sahit Ni Nirjara. Samvar Sahit Ni Nirjara means the shading occurs with stoppage. And stoppage means experience, beginning of purity, and shading means increasing purity. So increasing purity has to have beginning of purity to start with. Increasing 2 to 99 has to have number 1 started first. So now what happens? If I say that certain act I did today, I gave donation to the temple today, I did bhakti today, I did abhishek today, I did puja, I conducted puja. Everybody were extremely happy. Did I do nirjara at the time? I have no experience of the soul right now, but I did donation, I did worshipping, and I did all kind of things, Shastra Swadhay and everything. I did those scriptural study and everything. Does it mean that nirjara occurred to me? No, because to start with, there was no purity. So, if I do any kind of act today, this is Gurudev is telling us that, listen, you understand the reality first. What is your first and foremost act to be? What is the most important thing you must do first? All the effort should be directed for creating the purity state within me. If I do fasting and if I do all kind of austerity and everything, but if there is no experiencing of the soul, then there is no stoppage, there is no shading. So stoppage and shading has to start with self-experiencing first. So if I have a limited time, I have a loaded gun with one bullet only. Where will I direct that bullet? That bullet has to be directed towards me experiencing the soul. And for that thing, Gurudev Sri said, which Amrit Chandra Acharya wrote down and Kunkun Acharya wrote down 2000 years back, and that came from the Mahavir's messages. And Kunkun Acharya Dev went to Mahadev Kshetra by his own self, stayed there for 8 days, listened to the scriptures, scriptural mess, excuse me, scriptural message from Simanda Swami, and he also talked to all other highly trained monks and everything. And then he came back, and with his own experience, he writes that first you do your experiencing of the soul. I have a limited time remaining in this life. Now, if I have two pathways available, I have to do Swadhay to understand the reality and then to act accordingly to go within myself, or I can do austerity, etc. And I feel that I did something good. That's not true. That's what Acharya Bhagwan says. That does not mean we should not do those activities, but our understanding has to be only the beginning of purity will occur when I have experiencing of the soul. So that is very important take-home message we have to keep in mind from this kind of this 13th stanza in this shading element, what Acharya Bhagwan tries to tell us. So Nirjara Thava Yogya Paryay Atmani. અને નિર્જરા કરના એટલે કે કર્મનો ઉદય કર્મના કરનું ખરી જવું એ નિર્જરા કરનાર અને combined together is a નિર્જરા તત્વ. Does it make sense? And if it's question, let's stop here. Any question here? Okay, all right. So now we are coming to the last element, which is the bondage element. No, the two elements are remaining. Bondage we did not take there. Bondage we are taking here, and here, let's say same way here. So psychic bondage means inauspicious. Inclination of attachment, auspicious, inauspicious inclination, bondage combined together. Material bondage means karma fruition occurring in the form of bondage state. Together they are known as bonded element, which means bhavbandh, dravyabandh, bandha tattva. Soul's bondage occurs by itself. Bondage occurred in the soul due to its own altered personal effort. I did bondage myself. Then old karma fruition mode occurred by itself. Here we are not talking about new karma binding to the soul, but old karma bonding, old karma fruition occurred by itself. Soul being principal cause, karma fruition being auxiliary cause. So PA relationship has occurred over here. So bondage state in the mode of the soul known as eligibility occurring state. Mode has its own birth time, and bondage in the fruition of old karma state acts as instrumental cause, and combined together they have principal cause, auxiliary cause relationship. So bandha vikar thava yogya, bandha vikar karnar, and bandh tattva. Bandha vikar thava yogya means my own eligibility in the bondage state, and this is the fruition of karma, and this is the bondage element. And we are coming to the last part, which is a liberation element. Liberation element, again, soul's mode, karma fruition, and element. Bhav moksha, or psychic liberation, or soul's liberation, we can use the word, and all material karma disintegration. Bonded karma getting disintegrated completely, that's called dravya moksha, or material disintegration. And combined together, they are called moksha tattva, or liberation element. What happens in the soul's mode? Soul by itself creating mode of complete purity. 1 to 99, 0 was impurity 100% within me. 1 means purity beginning within me, means it is the stoppage, bhav stoppage, psychic stoppage. 2 to 99, we are saying bhav shading means bhav nirjara. And when it's become 100, complete purity, that means a psychic liberation or soul's liberation. And at that time, material karma by themselves 100% totally ran away from their own, from the association with the soul. So they are called karma problem occurring from karma side, that's called dravya moksha or material disintegration. And soul being principal cause, karma absence is auxiliary cause, and PA relationship is established over here. Principal cause, auxiliary cause relationship is occurred. Soul creating complete purity is a principal cause. Karma not being present at all is a auxiliary cause, and combined together is called liberation element. And remember, in the previous, the samvara and nijara, means stoppage and shading, we just said two things. There was a partial purity, partial impurity present. And that's why we call that one as an aspirant state. Because now I'm aspiring for purity, and result is the complete purity, means psychic liberation. So psychic stoppage and psychic shading combined together are called aspirant state. And now this is my achieved state. This is what I wanted to achieve. That is my achieved state. So liberation state in the mode is known as eligibility occurring at the time, and mode has its own birth time. And here liberation in the karma disintegration act as instrumental cause, labeled as doer of the act. Remember here, absence of karma acting as fruition, acting as a instrumental cause. Presence or absence of karma, both are considered as an instrumental cause. And here, complete purity state. Now you are going to ask me a question, or a question goes in your mind that, okay, liberation state means in first mode right now I have complete purity occurred, and with that complete purity all the material karma disintegrated completely. They are gone, they are not there at all. So what happens in next mode, third mode, fourth mode of purity? What happened? Why you are blaming this guy? They are not there, they are totally gone. But each moment, each samay, when this purity mode is generating, on this side, absence of karma fruition acts as an instrumental cause each time. And so each time that principal cause, auxiliary cause relationship is established, the karma fruition could be in the form of presence, and then it could be previously all those elements, but karma fruition absent, then it's a liberation state. So this is the next slide is coming. It will just say karma fruition's presence or karma fruition's absence, both are acting as instrumental cause. And so abhavrup nimit and sadbhavrup nimit. When we read this kind of thing, we can just say, my God, how much microscopically Acharya Bhagwan and Kevali Bhagwan has put forth things in front of us, that there is no question of any kind of any kind of thinking that this is wrong, this doesn't make sense. It makes sense. Everything is made perfectly. Only thing, if I don't understand, it's my problem, not understanding, but fact do not change. So there is that's why once we understand this thing in a proper fashion, understanding makes our thought process clear. And once the thought process is clear, then I had a ways opening up in front of me that my faith mode has to be inside, not outside. And once that happens, Samyak Darshan occurs. So Samyak Darshan means experiencing of myself. If somebody says Samyak Darshan means your Dev Sastra Guru Swadhay is Samyak Darshan, means omniscient Lord, Holy Scripture, and enlightened monk, they are you have total faith in them. That is Samyak Darshan. That is not a true definition of right faith or Samyak Darshan. Right faith, Samyak Darshan means somewhere, means experiencing of myself. When experiencing of myself occurs, outside in the form of an instrumental cause, omniscient Lord, or Holy Scripture, or enlightened monk, either of those entity will be present in the form of instrumental cause. But I can't blame them to be the reason for my Samyak Darshan. My own personal efforts are there as a Samyak Darshan. Having said that, you are going to raise the question, and that question is, Je Swarupa Samajya Vina Pamyo Dukhanan Samajya Vyote Padanamu Sri Sadguru Bhagavan. That stanza is extremely important, very first stanza of Atmasiddhi. The real nature I did not understand since time infinite, and the omniscient Lord, Holy Scripture, and enlightened monks, they explain to me the nature of my real self, and that's why I bow down to them. Because of them, Samyak Darshan occurred to me. Kupradev says that, very first stanza of Samaysar, he says, I bow down to Holy Scripture, enlightened monk, and omniscient Lord. Because of them, I got Samyak Darshan. And here we are saying, no, not that one. What is happening? Samajavyo means the one who explained to me. That's why I got Samyak Darshan. Or Samjayu. Samjayu means I understood myself. And that's why I have Samyak Darshan. What is truth is? Is Srimad Rajchandraji, is he wrong? No, he's not wrong. It's just I did not understand him. He has an extreme amount of intellect, and he just said to us that I got right faith or experiencing of myself. Je Swarupa Samjavina Pamyo Dukhanan Samjavyute Padanamu means I was unaware of my soul, the nature of the soul, and the Dev Shastra Guru, they explained to me. That's why I got Samyak Darshan. So I bow down to them. I show my utmost respect to them. So over here, Srimad Rajchandraji also knows that he obtained right faith, experiencing of the self, faith mode from the going to the alien object, went to the inner self, happened because of his own personal effort. But at the time, there was also presence of Nimit in the form of Dev Shastra Guru. And so he is showing his reverence. He is showing his reverence to the Dev Shastra Guru. And so he shows his respect. And so he says, I bow down to you. But inner of his heart, he knows all the effort I did, but they showed me the pathway. And just like my teacher is showing me the pathway, so I respect my teacher, even though I put my own effort. That's why I passed the exam. But teacher showed me the pathway. He was the instrumental cause. So I just bow down to him. So same way here. So when your knowledge starts increasing gradually, then your respect attribute also starts increasing, and so you show the respect to Dev Shastra Guru because they are showing you the light. They are showing you what is the right thing to do. That's why we just respect them. But at the same time, understanding that I put my effort from all these slides, what is 13th stanza says, that you have liberation state mode eligibility occurring within you. You had your mode has its own birth time. That's why you did that eligibility thing. And Dev Shastra Guru or Karma or whatever those things, they are acting as an instrumental cause, Nimit, and they are present as Nimit. So give respect to the Nimit. You can't just say that, Nimit is not there, Nimit is not there, doesn't do any work, so I don't care about. No. Its presence is there, so you give the importance in the form of its being presence when I'm getting my work done. So that is very important to understand. So here, Moksha Tava Yogya, Moksha Karna, and Moksha Tattva. Any questions so far? So this is the way all 9 elements they go about. So now we dissected them and we just said what is the 9 elements made up of. They are made up of 2 parts, psychic and material, like or soul's activity and material karma activity. So we divide it into 2 parts. We have a couple of minutes. Can I take 3-4 more minutes? Maybe I can go one quick slide.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. So no, it will take time. It will take time. So I think no, I need to take more time on this slide. So we'll do it next time. So here, do we have any question here? Most important thing to understand: the instrumental cause can be in the form of presence or can be in the form of absence. So those things are good to understand, and that way we have to keep understanding. Right? Okay. Questions.
Kirit, these discussions of these tattvas in this fashion, is this in Amritchandra Acharya's Tika?
Yes. Yes.
In this detail?
Well, yeah. I mean, in whatever he wrote down, he has a 1 paragraph telling these things, whole thing, and Gurudev has given most about 8 or 10 lectures on it. And so these are the Gurudev analyzing Amrit Chandra Acharya Tika. But yeah, these are the things Amrit Chandra Acharya writes down in this Tika. Yes. And can you imagine that? I mean, we are so lucky, so fortunate that Kunkun Acharya they wrote down only 2 lines. That's it. But after 2,000 years back, Kunkun Acharya they wrote down 2 lines. And then Amrit Chandra Acharya, 1,000 years back, as if he entered into Kunkun Acharya's heart and said, what was he thinking? And so he expanded all these things in front of us. And from those expansion of the Amrit Chandra Acharya's Tika, Gurudev's tree just cut it down in our own understanding way, what Amrit Chandra Acharya wants to tell us. So that's what Kunkun Acharya Dev, Amrit Chandra Acharya Dev, and Gurudev Sri. These are the 2,000 years, 1,000 years, and 50 to 100 years back. So this way we are getting all this information. Yes, all these things are there. Any other questions? Okay, we'll do the closing right now. Okay. Javani ke gyan se suje lokalok, sovani mastaka namo sada deta hu do. 9 times Namo Kamantra. Jai Jinendra. Michang Dukram. Thank you.
Thank you.
Which have me to come.
Thank
See you next Tuesday.
you.